What's happening, folks? Welcome back to another day in my Minecraft world. So we are back here in the Nether, and I have a pretty big one here for you. And this is a video that I have been not looking forward to editing because it's such a big project, and some would argue that it's not a project that is actually worth doing. Also, I was going through the video footage that I have, and apparently I lost a whole bunch of it. I had to move some files and folders around because I ran out of space. This project is so big. So what I'm going to do is I am going to be doing, the majority of this is going to be a voiceover. I have been trying to get caught up on videos so that way I'm more up to date. This video is actually probably from the time that I'm recording this now, probably about 3, maybe 4 weeks ago. I've been trying to get caught up so that way I can have more relevant videos. I would like to make a video, edit it, and then have it uploaded and published by at least the following day. So I am getting caught up. Judging by the thumbnail, you can tell that we are building a wither skeleton farm. Now, is it worth it to build one? Probably not. It was a lot of work, and the area that I decided to build it in was not ideal. So, I'm going to go ahead and start the voiceover, and we'll get into it. So I started this off by taking it, mending and unbreaking 3 and applying them to an elytra. Since I didn't know that this video was going to be this big, I went ahead and into the end and I collected 2 more elytras, as well as 2 more dragon heads. I headed home, got killed by an enderman, collected my stuff, and now we're in the end. This is where my blaze farm is, and that crossroads would have been a perfect place. However, due to the proximity of the blaze farm, I determined that that was not good. So I went flying around, and I was trying to find a new fortress to build in. And I finally found it. It was actually a slightly bit closer. So I went ahead and over there, and I surveyed the area. I found the place that I wanted to build in. This is a perfect crossroads right here. So once I found this area, I went ahead onto the roof. I put a hole in the roof, so that way I could get up and down. Then I piled up, made a torch tower so I can find my place back easily, and then I made a torch trail all the way back to the nether hub. Once I came back and cleared the area of wither skeletons, I made this little hut here so that I could actually work out of a place. And then I also placed down these roads right here. These go in all 4 directions, 128 blocks. So that way I know what the area that I need to despawn. Then I started from the top and worked my way down. If you see flying around here, there are these shelves, so I started there and started taking them out. I used TNT to begin blowing everything up, thinking that that would be the best route to actually despawn the area, was just destroy everything. And after going through a ton of TNT, I decided that that was starting to become a little bit expensive. So I went ahead and started buttoning everything up. You can see some buttons on this platform that I'm working on now. I went back to the overworld and I created a stone generator. I'll show you that in a little bit. But I used that to create stone, and I made a ton of buttons. Filled up every shulker box. I think I did that at least 9 or 10 times each, maybe even more. And once that started getting a bit tedious of placing buttons all over everything, I then switched to lava. I got some buckets and I kept dipping down, picking up lava and coming back up and dropping it all over everything. So everything was either blown up, covered in buttons, or covered in lava. Now I'll get to more on that in a little bit. this contraption here, which is part of the video footage that I lost, actually building this contraption. What you're seeing below me now is the inner platform of netherrack that is 19 by 19, and it is covered in wither roses. So yes, you need wither roses in order to get the wither skeletons that you need to summon the wither to get more roses. So I ran around and I collected enough skulls to summon a wither. Then you remember the chicken farm that I had? I went and I placed a collection system underneath of it. Basically, it consisted of a hopper minecart and a rail system going back and forth, and it picked up and it kept constantly picking up eggs and dropping them off into double chests underneath. And that gave me a whole ton of eggs. And what happens is when the wither is summoned, if there are friendly mobs nearby, it will attack it. And when it kills them, it usually turns them into a wither rose. And that's how I got all of these wither roses. I went underground, I made a long tunnel, I filled it up with water on one level, so that way the ground wouldn't be exploded, and I just filled it completely with chickens. I just kept throwing the eggs until it was completely full, and then I summoned the wither, and he attacked all of the chickens, and I got all of the wither roses that you see here. So then I came back, and I was able to plant all of these wither roses. Now that stopped all spawns except for... And that didn't stop all spawns, but what it did do was it killed all the spawns that spawned here, except for the wither skeletons. They are immune to the wither effect. I then put an additional 5-block border around that and covered it in carpets. That just kind of helps it. And then you can see, I'm trying not to show you too much of what the landscape looks like right now, but you can see that there is a wall of glass around this, and there are buttons on top. I know spawns can't spawn on glass, but I just put the buttons there anyway. Then what you see down here below, this is a 3x4 hole in the very center. On these three in the front, there is a black stone brick wall and another one in this corner. And then right here, there's a trapdoor. There's 8 trapdoors here, and they surround a piglin who is standing on a block in the middle with a block of glass on top, so that way he cannot get out. And on that block he's standing on, there is another trapdoor, and on this block here in the center is a trapdoor. That takes advantage of the fact that mobs think that trapdoors are a solid block that they can walk on. And when wither skeletons spawn, they hate these guys. So they're going to try to run over here and get to it, and they're going to fall right down here into a fall pit. You can kind of see it there. I'll show you more in a second. But you do also got to remember to name tag him, so that way he does not despawn. We are now standing right in front of that. You can see there was a wither skeleton that fell right down already, just as soon as we walked away. But right here, this is how I get down. Now we are down here below the platform, and I wanted to show you, this is where I originally had started with my kill platform. And basically all this is you can see it's wall, and then a column of wall, 2 columns of walls, and then 2 columns of glass. They come all the way down, straight down. Now you normally want to build this about 22 blocks below your platform, so that way when the skeletons fall, they don't die, but they lose enough health so that they are one-hit kills. So to summarize, 19 by 19 netherrack platform, covered in wither roses. However you acquire them, that's how you acquire them. In the center, 3x4 hole, block in the middle with a piglin standing on top, name tagged, and another block on top of him so he can't get out, surrounded by trapdoors. Skeletons spawn, they try to get them, they fall down this pit, and down here where you ultimately kill them with hoppers underneath and collecting all of the drops. Now let's get back to the footage that I actually recorded. Now this ended up not being very efficient at all. There were a lot of spots that I missed, and there were plenty of places for mobs to continue spawning on. So I had an idea of how to fix that. What I did here is I made a representation of the spawn sphere. It is 128 blocks in all directions from the center. and 1 millimeter is equal to 1 block. So that way it is 128 millimeters in all directions. This little dot in the middle is a 2 millimeter tall that represents me, and the platform above is the platform where the skeletons are supposed to be spawning. So this entire area around here is the area where spawns can spawn. They can either spawn and then despawn. Either way, they're still going to spawn in this entire area. So the way that I was planning on trying to fix this was if I took myself and I lowered myself down, that spawn sphere comes with me. So now you can see we're losing space above the spawn sphere for mobs to continue spawning on. So the lower I got, the less spots that the other mobs had to spawn, which would allow more mobs to spawn on the platform. Then what I did was I went and I gathered up a whole lot more sand, and I brought it all back in the shulker boxes I made from going to the end. And since sand is a gravity block, meaning it won't stick on the side of something like all the other blocks do, it just falls straight down. What this allows you to do is to drop sand and it falls all the way down to bedrock and it just stacks up. So I went ahead and I went around the entire outside perimeter of the little thing that I made here, as well as the underside because I'm just above the lava ocean, and I filled everything up with sand. So since the method that I used to get down here was dug out from the side of a nether fortress pillar, and I used these vines to get down, I was able to actually continue to dig all the way down to the bedrock, and then I could remove the sand from the inside, so that basically took the entire space that I had up above and moved it all the way down on top of the bedrock, which ultimately brought me down further away from the spawn platform, lowering that sphere around me and limiting the spawns to an area closer to that platform. Now if we go ahead and take a look at the spawn platform, it is on level 65, and down below it is on level 20. So that still leaves something, I think it's like, I don't know, like 40, 44 blocks above where mobs can continue to spawn. So remember that. Now also what I did was I began moving everything down. That included the fall channel, so that way they could all fall down lower to where I can get them. So then I began bringing everything down, which included the fall chamber, brought the walls and the glass to the bottom. I rebuilt the bottom where they fall onto, which consisted of chests, hoppers, and slabs on those hoppers, so that way we could get up to the skeletons, but they couldn't see us or get to us. Now, that height difference from the platform to where we are now, that is going to cause them to die on impact. So what I did at first was I tried a fence gate with some lava on top, thinking that that would slow them down. Well, that didn't. So, what I ultimately ended up doing was I replaced all of that with a cobweb. Now, I know that that would slow them down significantly, but we should still see some good rates. But, to my surprise, the rates were they were improved, but they were still not what I was expecting. Okay, so that now brings us up to current times. I wanted to show you what I have been doing since then. Since then, I have had some jobs to do. I've been working on some game boards for somebody, and while the machine is running, I can't record because you can hear it in the background just because of the way that this apartment is set up. So what I did in the meantime was I came down here and I cleared a lot of stuff. It took me days to do this. In another video, I made a very nice XP farm that'll be coming up soon. So I used that to continuously mend up my tools and come back here. And right now, I want to show you how it looks and what kind of rates we have now. So let's go down and show you what we're looking at. This, folks, this is what I have been working on. You see the cobblestone going all the way over there, It goes all the way around, 128 blocks that way and 128 blocks that way. And I started just clearing everything. You can still see that there are some places where they can spawn, and there are some areas that didn't exactly get cleared out, but those are like way up top here, and the distance from the bedrock down below to this platform actually kind of like removes a lot of this area. We're like literally still right up here at the ceiling. If we keep coming down, you can see that there's an area that I had exploded, so I actually went past the spawn area over there. You can see all of the ghast blasts along the wall that I had to deal with while doing this. Over here, I believe, was a Soul Sand Valley. So there are ghasts that spawn a lot over here. Maybe we could build a ghast farm over here sometime. But everywhere else, you can see all along the walls. I cut everything, and see up here, see these two right here? These two guys, once I get down there, they will despawn because this is high up enough. And with the, it's outside of the spawn area. You can see over there, that's still technically where the fortress is. So that's why there's a blaze spawned over there. And then once I had everything down, the majority of this was over Lava Ocean. However, there are areas like over there, and you can see over there, they're all covered in buttons. Lots and lots of buttons, but not nearly as much as we had before. And then these areas here, you can see those little squares down there. Those are where the fortress used to be. The fortress stretched all the way out to there and there, over there. You can still see it still goes on into the wall right there. And you can see up here the ceiling from the utter destruction that I did when placing down all of the TNT. I'm going to go ahead and fly around a little bit real quick just to show you how things look. You can see like right over here, see that? There's 3 blocks there that I missed, and a little dude spawned on there. That's fine, because when we're down there, that won't matter. He'll despawn. And all around here, this is a huge area. There's a gas. Later, dude. But you can see it is just one big, giant, cleared out area. Don't mind this. This was a little experiment that really didn't work. Didn't really pan out. But let's go back up here and show you what kind of, oops. But let's go ahead and go down here, and I will show you the kind of rates that we are experiencing. And now we are down here onto bedrock. I was thinking about decorating this. See, here comes some more already. 3, 4, there's 4, 5. Haha, let's see the rates. I was thinking about decorating this place, but yeah, I doubt that I'm ever going to come back here after this video. But you can see there, it does collect a lot. There's a good amount of bone. We have plenty of, we can get as much bone as we need over at the mesa. There are 6 skulls in here, we can keep that. I think I'll hold on to some of this as well. In another video, you'll see why I have that. But you can see that these rates, we already, just from coming down here, we've already got a whole swallow of them. See, look at that. Got 1 wither skeleton just from coming down here. That's pretty cool, huh? Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to leave this here, because you can see there's still stuff coming in, and this will be a placeholder. So actually, I'll do this too, just in case, even though we're never going to come down here again. But you heard all that noise? See, look at them. Look at them all coming down. This thing is so much better now that there is nothing around here. Look at that. They're getting cram damage now. So you can clearly see that the rates have gone up dramatically. However, the amount of work that got put into this to clear out the area was probably more than it's actually worth. The only thing that I can think of for wither roses is to build a wither skeleton farm, and the only reason to build a wither skeleton farm is to summon the wither multiple times, which you could probably, if the amount of effort put into this, would probably be more worth your while just to run around a fortress killing wither skeletons to get their heads. So what I want you to do now is to go down into the comments section and let me know if the voiceover option was actually a little bit better than what I normally do. If you guys liked it, then I'll do a little bit more of them like that. Kind of sped things along a little bit. I actually had this broken up into, I was planning on making this a 3-video thing. That's why I figured the voiceover would be better. We get it done in 1 video. So, with that said, I hope you liked. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Dan out.